When Georgie and Mandy's first marriage first spun off from the final season of Young Sheldon, fans expected a lighthearted look at the unlikely duo trying to raise a child while figuring out the chaos of early adulthood. But Season 2 of the CBS comedy takes a surprisingly nuanced turn, redefining its narrative setup in ways that deepen the characters, expand the world of the Big Bang Theory universe, and offer a heartfelt commentary on the complexities of modern love, family, and identity. From survival to stability, a shift in narrative tone. Season 1 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage was grounded in survival, financial strain, emotional whiplash, and the growing pains of two people who weren't exactly planning on raising a child together, let alone getting married. The comedy mined tension from Georgie's immaturity and Mandy's practical yet weary outlook on life. Their chemistry was undeniable, but so was the uncertainty that haunted their every decision. Season 2 changes that. It doesn't erase the struggles but instead reframes them through a lens of stability and hope. Georgie, still prone to humorous lapses in judgment, is maturing. He's stepping up as a father, carving out a more reliable career, and, perhaps most surprisingly, learning how to communicate. Mandy, meanwhile, begins to relax her guard. No longer just surviving, she's imagining a future, one that might actually include happiness. In many ways, the tonal shift mirrors the way real relationships evolve. When the crisis mode fades, the real work begins, and Season 2 isn't afraid to get its hands dirty. Building a marriage on unstable ground. The show's title is cheeky. Georgie and Mandy's first marriage. The implication that there may be a second, or third, raises the stakes subtly. This isn't a traditional sitcom marriage built to last because the writers need it to. This is a relationship under a microscope. Two people who rushed into a lifelong commitment because of circumstance, not necessarily compatibility. Season 2 leans into this tension beautifully. Mandy questions the rushed wedding. Georgie wonders if he's enough for her. Their conflicts no longer feel sitcom shallow, they have roots. And even when the arguments end in laughs, there's a lingering emotional truth that gives the show unexpected weight. What's especially smart is how the show allows both characters to be wrong, and both to be right. Mandy's protectiveness of their daughter sometimes veers into control. Georgie's laid-back approach risks irresponsibility. But rather than painting either character as the villain, the show frames their disagreements as the growing pains of a real, imperfect love. A bigger world. Beyond the Coopers. Season 2 also widens the lens beyond just Georgie and Mandy. While Young Sheldon was deeply rooted in the Cooper family, this spin-off begins to branch out. We see more of Mandy's parents, now more fully fleshed out, with their own flaws, aspirations, and opinions about the marriage. Georgie's side of the family still pops in, especially Meemaw, still a scene stealer, but the world feels broader. A standout addition is a new neighbor couple, Ben and Trina, who mirror Georgie and Mandy in interesting ways. Married young, childless by choice, and wrestling with their own version of marital instability, they serve as both contrast and cautionary tale. Through them, the show asks an important question. What does it actually mean to make a marriage work? This expansion also allows the show to explore themes that its predecessor only skimmed. Economic insecurity, gender roles, emotional labor, cultural shifts, faith and its evolution. The show doesn't lose its comedy, but it begins to resemble a dramedy in some of its storylines, adding emotional resonance to a genre often brushed off as lightweight. Comedy with consequences. What makes Georgie and Mandy's first marriage Season 2 so intriguing is how it balances heartfelt moments with genuinely funny beats. It's still a sitcom. There are punchlines, awkward family dinners, and wacky misunderstandings. But the humor often comes from character rather than situation. Take, for instance, an episode where Georgie tries to fix a plumbing issue himself to save money. The setup is classic sitcom slapstick. But instead of just ending in a flooded bathroom, it spirals into a heartfelt conversation about pride, masculinity, and the lessons Georgie did, or didn't, learn from his father. The episode still makes you laugh, but it also makes you think. The writing is sharper, more confident. The supporting cast, too, has found its rhythm. The baby, Constance, named after Meemaw, is now crawling and babbling, becoming a symbol of both chaos and connection in their lives. Her presence adds warmth and urgency to every scene, reminding the audience that this isn't just about romance, it's about family. Legacy and departure. In some ways, Season 2 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage is about legacy, not just familial, but narrative. It's a show aware of its place in a larger universe. References to Sheldon are sprinkled lightly but meaningfully. Georgie reflects on his brother's success with a mix of pride and insecurity. Mary and Missy drop in, their own arcs evolving in parallel. But the show is no longer just an extension of young Sheldon. It's its own thing now. More grounded, more mature, and arguably more emotionally rich. It dares to ask what happens after the wedding, after the baby, after the initial spark of love is tested by dishes in the sink and 3 a.m. feedings and wondering if you married the right person. Conclusion. A spin-off that earns its place. Season 2 of Georgie and Mandy's first marriage isn't just a step forward, it's a reinvention. It respects where the characters came from but isn't afraid to let them grow into new versions of themselves. It keeps the laughs but deepens the emotional core. And perhaps most importantly, it embraces the messiness of modern marriage with a kind of grace rarely seen in network comedy. In doing so, it becomes more than just a spin-off. It becomes a story worth telling on its own. A story about love, parenting, sacrifice, and second chances. And if the first marriage doesn't last, well, that just means the writers have even more honest ground to explore in seasons to come. Would you like this article adapted into something else, like a video script, review, or podcast outline?